Hello, everyone. I want to speak to you on something a tad bit different today. I want to talk about something that matters deeply, not just to a few, but to all of us. And it comes near and dear to my heart because I was kind of prompted to speak on this topic, and it's about autism, mental health, and the courage it takes to keep going, even when life feels overwhelming. I have a disclaimer though. I just want everybody to know that I'm not a medical professional or a mental health professional. And I'm speaking from a personal experience and based off of knowledge on these topics because they're actually near and dear to me. And I was also asked to shine a light on the topic as well. So, without further ado, I just want to start with just some clarity, right? Autism is not a mental illness because many of us, when I say us, I'm not pinpointing anybody in particular, but many people think that it's a mental illness, and it's not. It's actually just a neurodevelopmental condition, which means that it's different in how the brain processes information and they communicate, and connects to the world. So just put it like this. It's a different way of being, not a defect, if that makes sense. It's a different way of being, not a defect. Whereas mental health, on the other hand, it relates to the most of like the emotional, psychological, and social well-being, right? Conditions like anxiety, depression, PTSD, and there are several others that can go fall under this category of mental illness, and these are just mental health challenges that can affect anyone, including people with autism. So they're compounded with that on top of what they already deal with. In fact, many people of the spectrum deal with mental health conditions due to stress, understanding, and a world not built for them and their brilliance that they have naturally, But here's what I need you to hear. Having autism doesn't make you broken, though. It really doesn't. It doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you are defected or nonetheless. Struggling with your mental health doesn't make you weak. And living with both, it just means you're carrying a heavier load. Kind of part, so excuse me for having to sip my water. It doesn't mean you're carrying a heavier load or anything like that, but it doesn't mean you also can't move mountains, because you certainly have the capability to do all things that you want to if you are diagnosed with either one of these, or maybe even both. See, every person on the spectrum brings something powerful to the world. They have a unmatched focus. And I'm sure we all can agree to that. They have great creativity, integrity. They're very honest. And they have a lot of passion. You actually see things other tends to miss. You feel things way more deeply. And even though the world might not always understand you, you still belong here as much as anyone else does. So I want to be clear about a lot of this stuff. This is a very important topic, and it does need to be talked about a lot more. So really, to anyone who has autism, to anyone dealing with mental health struggles, I see you, I hear you, and I want to tell you this: please do not give up. You don't have to fit in to make a difference. You don't have to be like anyone else to succeed. As a matter of fact, your path might look a little different, but that doesn't make it any less powerful. Let that resonate for a minute, because the things that I'm saying, these are very, very important. And if you do some research, you'll find that some of the most brilliant minds in the world has ever known were on the spectrum. And this is a fact. Some of the most brilliant minds in the world, they were on the spectrum. Just do the research. Get on Google and ask Google. Some of the strongest people I've ever known and I've met battle with these invisible battles every single day. Every single day. And the fact that you're still standing, still trying, still striving to grow, that alone makes you extraordinary. I'm not saying that all this is great, because, yes, there will be days where you feel isolated, misunderstood, tired of masking and explaining yourself. But even on the hardest days, you're still not alone. See, there's a strength in your story, so we have to make sure we get it out there, There's a purpose in your pace, and there's greatness and just a blessing in your uniqueness that you have. So keep showing up, keep advocating, keep striving, not to be someone else, let's be clear, but to be the best version of you, because the world needs exactly who you are. You want to know what that is? Unfiltered, unapologetic, and undeniably strong. You're not less. You're more than enough. Way more than enough. I love you. We all love you. And I truly hope this shares some light, and positive light, and misunderstanding to be corrected, so we can understand the difference between the two. I want to say thank you so much. And make sure you share this, tag this, repost it. And as I always say, no gatekeeping information over here. Share it. It's Will J, your favorite motivational speaker. I'm out.